Now let's go to next method, that is the subset command. For subset command, it takes the input as vector, matrix, data frame. It can be used for any of the data structure, and it will subset and return the values from in the form of vector, matrix or data frame following a particular condition that will be mentioned in our formula. So the function that we use for subset is subset within bracket x is the object or the matrix data frame that you are giving as an input, that is your data set. Next is the subset. So subset, it is the function or the command or a condition that you give in order to subset your data. And select here, select is the expression indicating which columns of the data frame you want to select data from. So let's go to R and create the conditions. So first I'm taking set.seed. So what does set.seed do? Like you can take any of the numbers inside the bracket. It can be 3, 4, 5, it can be 1000, 1, 2, 3, anything. So set.seed fixes the number whenever you are taking a sample number or a random number to create a data set. So it fixes your number. It will not change values whenever you will run that command. So set.seed. Now I'm creating a matrix. So I'm using round command here. Round command giving the decimal point as 2. So the numbers that will be returned, it will have values till 2 decimal points. Within the matrix command, I am using rnorm condition. So rnorm is the random normal distribution. For that, I am using 30 values with the standard random numbers for 30 values with the mean of 1. You can always use question mark before the function in order to get help from R regarding that function. So I am using rnorm within matrix. So I have taken the value of numbers in that matrix that I want, that are 30 values, and columns, I want 5 columns here, rounded till 2 decimal values. And I'm creating one more column, and that is y, in which I have used sequence command. So I want 1 with a sequence of 5, difference of 5. So let's execute it. Now I'm combining both the columns, as you can see. So these are the x part and y column that we created after the x1. So converting x into a data frame. So to convert it, we just use the command data.frame and give the variable name. So you can see all the columns has been named as v1, v2, v3, v4. It get the name default by default because we are not having any of the headings here. Now let's use subset function to subset the data from this data frame. So we want subsetting rows using the so we are subsetting the rows here. First, inside the function we give the name of the data frame. So here it is x.df, and then giving our condition. So all in this y column, all the values greater than 2, we want to return all the rows having y equal to 2. So you can see we have 4, 5, 6 row here. Now these are the rows that have been printed because the value of 2 here is greater and the value of y here is greater than 2. Similarly, so if you are able to understand the subset function, first you are giving the name of the data frame in which you want to subset the data. After that, you are giving the condition on which your subset will be created. Again, if you want to give multiple conditions using AND operator here, so the data frame name, after that condition was y greater than 2 and v1, that is vector 1, greater than 0.2 value. So let's execute this command. And you can see 2 rows has been returned where in v1 the value is greater than 0.2 and in y column the value is greater than 2. Now if you want to subset using both rows and columns, I am giving the same condition here, x the data frame name, then y greater than 2 and y2 v2, that is vector 2 greater than 0.4. Then select. Now here select, what does it do is it will use only vector 1 and vector 4 to return the subset values. So you can see only one row has been returned in column v1 and v4 according to our condition given here. Next is the which command. So which command helps us to return the position of the value whichever specified in the bracket. Let's go to R and explain further how which command will be used. So let's check the letters. So let's check the letters available to us in R. So they are obviously A to Z. There are 26 alphabets in our English alphabets. So we are using which command to get the position number of the Z alphabet here inside. So using which command within the brackets, I am saying in the letters exactly the specific name that I am giving here is Z. So I want the position in which Z is saved. Let's execute this command and you can see it is the 26th number, the Z variable in our English alphabets. Similarly, if you want for S, so it is the 19th alphabet. Now, if you are using any data set, data frame, any data set, like we have a inbuilt data set women here. So I want the position of the row. I'm using the data frame women here, in which I want the value, the specific position of the value 66, where the women's height is equal to 66. Let's execute this command. So in position 9, that is the row 9, the value of women's height is equal to 66. If you want to check this data, let's check the women data set, and you can see in row 9 it is 66 value. So if you understand which command, what does it do, it returns the position of the value or condition you are giving inside the bracket. Similarly, if you want the height, a number of the position where height of the women is greater than or equal to 70, so the values are 13, 14 and 15 position. You can see in the column in the data set also the values are 13, 14 and 15 where the height of the women is greater than or equal to 70. So let's use this function to subset the vector. Now I'm creating a vector here. I have taken different values. Now if I take condition as j greater than 6, let's see what is the result. So you can see for each and every value in this vector, it has returned false or true. So wherever the value is greater than 6, it will return true for that value. Now if I use which condition with that, it will return only the positions where the value is true or the value is greater than 6. Now if you want to subset this data and I want to save it in a variable, let's take a as a variable, and I want to create a subset out of this vector using which condition. So I am taking the first the vector name here, subsetting using square bracket notations and giving the command using which function. So all those values in the vector j which are greater than 6 should be saved in variable a. Let's print the command. So you can see if only which condition was used, the positions of that values were the output. But if you use a square bracket notations with that, it will return the values of that from that vector. Similarly, I have taken it for letters only. It is if you want small case letters, you can always type letters in small case. It will return you all the alphabets in small case, and if you want them in capital case, so you can take you can print the uppercase letters. Now let's take one more example. I am creating a vector here for marks. If I use which function, it will return the position of the marks where they are greater than 30. So you can see the third and fourth position values are greater than 30, 40 and 60. Now if I subsetted those values using square bracket notation, this should return the values. So you can see the third and fourth position, the values of that position were 40 and 60. So using square bracket notations along with which command, it helps us to subset the data from the data frame. Similarly, there is one more command that is the grep command. So you can always question mark it. So it will group your data and will return the output. So it follows a pattern matching to your requirement and will return you the data. Now I am creating a vector here with character form data type. So I have taken names here: Jack, Jill, Tom, Jerry, Bugs Bunny. Now I am using grep command and saying that all the values in all these vector values. So grep command is used. First we give the subset or the value that we want to check in this data frame in this vector, then the name of the vector. After that, ignore case is true. So if there is any any in any case where there is false value or there is no matching value, so it will be given as true. Let's execute this command. So it has returned me with two positions, that is fifth and sixth. In fifth and sixth, we can see the subset values that we have given, they are matching in that case. So it has returned me those positions. Now if I want to subset those data, again you can use square bracket notation for that from the vector name. So vector name square bracket, within the bracket same command that we used to get the position. So you can see it has returned you the names of those uh, characters in which BU is common. Last example that I am using is of empty cars. So empty cars, as we all know, it has 32 rows and 11 columns. If I use which command here, so what does it do is, it has returned me all the positions, positions in MPG values where they are greater than 25. These are the position numbers. Now, if I want to subset this data frame, again I'll use square bracket notations, and it will return me all the rows of that position number where the value is greater than 25, and this should be in the R part, that is the row part, and column part will be empty because we want all the columns to be returned. So let's sum up the subsetting of the data. We are using three methods here. First is the subset function, wherein I have taken the example of a data frame x.df. So we are subsetting the data frame x.df based on the condition where y value is greater than 2. Next we used was square notations. It is very important and mostly used subsetting command that we generally use is square bracket notations. So it always follow R into C principle. You should remember that. If you want to subset the data, you should know which is the R row part and which is the column part. First, before column it is rows, and after that it is column. As you can see in the example also, and you give the name of the data set, that is X. Within the square brackets, you can mention the rows and columns here that you want to include or exclude. If you want to exclude it, put a minus sign before the value, it will exclude that value. The last we used is which command. In which command, it returns the position of the value when it satisfies the specified condition. And if you want to subset that position number, you can always use a square bracket notation with that using the dataset name. So it will return you the values of that position.